name is Kevin Lau. I'm the composer of Little Feng Huang, and I am super excited at the chance to have written this piece for Angela and Kylie for their new album. I've always enjoyed writing for both the flute and the harp. I've never done so in this combination. I think that they're both very, very special instruments, and when combined together, there is kind of an angelic and a magical quality that really suited my ideas for this piece. And so I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to write for this combination of instruments. This piece was inspired by a short story that I wrote during the year 2020 when many artists and many other people were finding various ways of coping with the difficulties of the pandemic. The short story I wrote was about this character named Little Feng Huang, who is actually a bird, a parrot. And in this story, there's a couple who is going through some challenges in their life. They're experiencing infertility, and they adopt a bird partly as a way of grieving and also including a new family member. And so the story is just a very, very sweet tale of their bond. But this bird is named Nyx, N-Y-X, which is both a play on the Greek goddess of the night, and the bird is described as being jet black, very much like the night sky, but also a play on the word phoenix from both the Greek and the Chinese phoenix. And at the end it's revealed that it is kind of a phoenix, and so at the end of its life it bursts into flame, and there's a kind of rebirth metaphor as the couple finds that they have a new baby that they're going to welcome. I was writing this story just as I got the call from Angela asking if I was interested in writing a new piece for her and Kylie, and so it was just one of those things where the story was on my mind so much that it seemed very natural for me to use it as a subject for this new piece. Inspiration in music is a tricky thing to discuss because music to me is a kind of language that goes beyond our linguistic articulation, and there is a whole universe of beauty and storytelling within that. The tempos of the movements are kind of conventionally structured, so it begins with a slow improvisatory movement at the beginning that is intended to represent the idea of night and the nocturnal mystery that this bird seems to portray. The second movement, which is titled "Winter is a World of White," it's one of the sentences from the story, is a playful riff on just the idea of this bird enjoying the winter months and the snow, and it has some references to the four seasons. The whole movement is kind of jovial and filled with very dance-like. And the third movement, titled Elegy, has more of a somber tone as we discover that the bird is ill, and so there's kind of a very heavy and funereal aspect to that movement. And then the fourth movement, of course, is this sort of rebirth, where the phoenix bursts into flames, and it's both I think it's a cathartic movement in the sense that we are intended to feel both the sadness of this bird leaving this earth, but also the joy and the beauty that comes with new life, and with the realization that good things come to an end, but often mark the beginnings of new things. I've talked with Angela and Kylie a lot in rehearsals about flow as both a musical technique, a compositional technique, but also a way of life in a way. And you know, I often speak of flow as the place that I want to be in, a state of flow. That is kind of the place where an artist lives, really, when you feel that something is so engaging and so meaningful that time seems to move in a little bit of time seems to move quickly, and a lot of the troubles of the world seem not necessarily to disappear, but to become kind of part of the fabric of living. And for me to write music in an expressive and authentic way, I have to be immersed in a mode of creativity where I can feel that state of flow, where I can feel like I'm disappearing into the music. Writing music for me is such an enjoyable and purpose-giving experience that, in some sense, discovering that flow is easy. I think protecting it is something that I always try to work on. And so for me, it's very, very important to carve out time and space to do seemingly frivolous things like daydreaming and even just kind of doing nothing. Simply because I feel that creativity needs space to breathe, and it needs a kind of non-committal attention. Our world is so full of stimulus, and much of that stimulus is designed to kind of exacerbate emotion. And so the idea of flow from a musical point of view is a little bit like, I always think of musical inspiration as like a river of ideas, and as a composer you're not necessarily trying to, you're trying to direct the current in a certain way, and there's a balance between directing and stepping back. You're allowing your intuitions to guide you, and you're shaping the piece in a way so it's not completely pure instinct, but at the same time you're whatever the music is telling you, you're trying your best to listen to that and to allow it to realize its potential. I'm really grateful to both Angela and Kylie for selecting me for their album and for asking me not only to write this piece, but also to give me the freedom to explore my creativity and my musical ideas in this very, very lovely free space. And both Angela and Kylie are such phenomenal musicians. They have wonderful sound, they have wonderful technique, but above all, their musicality is something that gives me great joy every time I hear them play. And it really is a privilege for a composer to work with people like this, and to, I always think of creativity as that there is a bit of a responsibility there, even if that responsibility includes the performers, because I am writing a piece of music first and foremost for them to have something to communicate their own feelings and their own expressivity to a wider audience. And so I'd like to thank Kylie and Angela for this opportunity. Thank you very much.